Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman.
Sometimes in your life you stumble and fall because of a bad choice. I knew this 6 months ago when we picked a whole month full of bad comic book adaptations to cover on our live show. It brought back memories not only from this movie, but a whole slew of comic book adaptations during the mid-90s that were not quite up to par as a movie, let alone do justice to the original material. And besides the memes, was this movie really that bad? Let's find out. I'm Meffistoe. Like, share, and subscribe because this is my review of the movie Batman and Robin.
And you are?
Batgirl.
That's not awfully PC. What about Bad Person or Bad Woman?
Batman and Robin is an action comic book movie adaptation directed by Joel Schumacher and written by Akiva Goldsman. Back in 1995, after the success of Batman Forever, Warner Brothers knew that they wanted another Batman sequel, but they wanted a faster turnaround and be done in 2 years rather than the 3-year wait they accustomed their audience with. Schumacher and Goldsman went straight into work right after Schumacher finished his work on A Time to Kill. But this is of course where all the problems began. Val Kilmer, who donned the cowl in Batman Forever, took other jobs believing that this one will wait for him. Plus, he wanted to work with Marlon Brando on The Island of Dr. Moreau, which turned out to be a huge mistake. To add to that, the script kept changing all the time, especially after Arnold signed on to do the role, which shifted the original tone of Mr. Freeze, and the studio, of course, wanted to capitalize on the Batman franchise and forced the toy designers to create some of the elements in the movie in order for Warner Brothers to be able to sell merchandise if the movie takes off. Fun fact, it didn't, and neither did the merch. And that's because they forgot one important thing.
7 million. Never leave the cave without it.
The story of the movie puts us right in the action as Batman and Robin try to stop a museum robbery committed by one Mr. Freeze, a new threat to Gotham.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
It is plainly obvious that the two heroes do not get along, and it is very hard for them to work together. This eventually causes Mr. Freeze to escape with the loot, alongside with almost killing Robin.
Do we get it?
Also, in a faraway laboratory, one Dr. Pamela Isley discovers that her boss is running a dangerous experiment using her patented venoms. The problem is, he wants to sell them to really bad people. And because she meddled into his business, he turns around and tries to murder her, which only serves to create her alt persona, Poison Ivy, and supply her with a minion called Bane.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. That's why every Poison Ivy action figure comes complete with him.
But it is only after she relocates to Gotham, she teams up with Mr. Freeze in an attempt to freeze Gotham and let Mother Nature take over.
What are you, about a 50 big and tall?
No, I always go a size smaller. Makes me look slimmer.
Throughout the years that I've been running this channel, there have been videos, now either privated or deleted, that caused me to lose focus. Ever since October of 2023, I changed all that and focused solely on reviewing movies. Now, what does that have to do anything with this review? I wanted to give an honest review and cover movies that I actually liked and watch them critically again to give a well-rounded review. I wanted to be as fair as possible, and the fact is, it is easy to review a movie you enjoy watching, especially rewatching it over and over again. But when you watch a movie that is so bad that you want to stop in the middle of it and yell, why? Why did I have to watch this again? That is where you know you have to sharpen the pen and eviscerate a movie that deserves it.
The heat is on.
And because I love the Batman character, it is time to sharpen that pen. I shall start with the casting. George Clooney was not and has never been a good Batman. He wasn't even a good Bruce Wayne, even though he kind of fits with his persona. Clooney, in my opinion, was cast because ER was the biggest show on television at the time. As a matter of fact, he actually pulled a double duty style Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future and worked both on the movie and on the TV show. The fact that he was this enormous TV star, that's why, in my opinion, Warner Brothers insisted on bringing him on, but they forgot one important thing.
Why are all the gorgeous ones homicidal maniacs?
Is it me?
Chris O'Donnell was okay as Robin, plus he did have some good back and forth moments with Clooney, setting up a beef between Batman and Dick Grayson's Robin, which, if you know or don't know, in the comic books led to Grayson becoming Nightwing. But if you're coming to this movie and you don't know this fact, it'll seem a bit silly and stupid, and the reason for them fighting is actually Poison Ivy rather than a real beef between a master and an apprentice.
I mean, that's your idea of friendship, isn't it, Bruce? It's your house, it's your rules. I mean, it's your way or the highway. It's Batman and Robin, not Robin and Batman.
The inclusion of the Batgirl and casting Alicia Silverstone was, to me, ham-fisted and yet another casting decision that was done in order to grab people's attention. They wanted the girl from Clueless, but what they got was stiff acting that was totally deadpan. Alicia did not fit this role, and it seems like she didn't want to even be there.
Chicks like you give women a bad name.
Uma Thurman, however, was fine as Poison Ivy. She slipped into this role of the femme fatale, and the only gripe I have is the rough material she had to work with.
And the time has come for plans to take back the world so rightfully ours.
But the kick in the nuts, of course, is Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. The man was a pun machine, even before he began shooting Batman and Robin. But the thing is, Mr. Freeze's story actually started in the Batman animated series, in an episode called Heart of Ice. And this entire movie started off based on that episode. And if you've seen the episode, you will agree that it is a far cry from the character you see on screen as Mr. Freeze. To be perfectly honest, the original idea and the role of Mr. Freeze was different in the first draft. This is right around the time that actors like Ed Harris, Anthony Hopkins, and even Patrick Stewart were considered for the role, although Schumacher did deny the latter was actually true. What remained of all this is that Arnold took a $25 million paycheck, demanded and got a 12-hour day only work schedule. 6 of them he spent in a makeup chair, all for a handful of scenes that you actually see him act in, because most of the action, especially with Batman and Robin, was done with stand-ins and stuntmen. All because they forgot one important thing.
There's only one absolute. Everything freezes.
Beyond the casting, it was down to a badly written script and the push and pull of the studio, which Joel Schumacher agreed with, to go more cartoony version of the Batman. And for what reason? To sell toys. Then ended up with a story of the Batman, which is more campy than the campiest version of the Batman, Batman 66. And remember that thing I told you that they forgot? Well, I'm sure you're pretty much biting your nails, dying to know what it is. Alright, I'll tell you. When the creators of this movie did the casting, and all they could think of is how to get the broadest audience possible, they forgot the most important part of a movie, the storytelling. Every good movie needs a good story and great, well-rounded characters. And the only good, well-rounded character with a decent story in this movie is actually Alfred.
Don't wait up, Al.
I'll cancel the pizza.
This all resulted in a movie that was a mess of a story with terrible dialogue and pandered to too many people trying to sell toys in order to capitalize on merch. But again, Warner Brothers and the rest of the creative crew forgot that the powerhouse merch that is Batman can only be milked if the people who buy the merch love the movie. They didn't love the movie, nor did I. This is, without a doubt, the worst Batman movie to date. And it was so bad, Warner Brothers did not want to wait 3 years to try and fix it. They waited almost a decade and saw the popularity of Spider-Man and X-Men rise to kick into gear before they greenlit Batman Begins and the Nolan trilogy. I absolutely hated rewatching this for a review and for our live show. It does not hold up on the rewatch, and I cannot really recommend it. Because you know what really killed the dinosaurs? A meteor. And I hope one hits this movie and blasts it out of existence. Here's for hoping.
The only 2 people left in the world.
Yes, Adam and evil.
I thank you for watching, and remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I'll see you on the next video.